Hey everybody, Mike Iaconelli here. I want to talk to you about the recent Going Ike episode, Napa Valley Bassing. Man, let me tell you, Napa is known for wine, but it's also got some great fishing and beautiful scenery. Fishing on a lake called Lake Berryessa, and we were really in the time of what's called fall transition. And the bass actually get picky for a couple weeks when they're transitioning into their fall pattern. But the one key element we found, we caught all our fish primarily on two different baits, is to really try to mimic the bait fish and to dial in on the bait fish. And you know, one of the key baits in the shoot was an umbrella rig, and we caught several nice bass and the biggest bass of the day on an umbrella rig. And you know, for those of you that fish this and are allowed to fish it in tournament situations, it can be deadly when that bait fish starts schooling. There's no better rig that mimics a school of bait fish. It really mesmerizes the fish. And you know, I fished my Alabama rig with Berkeley Havoc baits, these little swim bait style lures, and I fished all those around, but I always want to put that bottom bait a little bit bigger and a little bit different. So we used the beach shads as our little kind of teasers, and then as that main big swim bait in the middle that hangs lower, we use just a little Berkeley hollow belly, a little bit bigger bait, a little bit different color jig head, and that caught a lot of the really big fish for us during the shoot. But you know, there's another one that I love in that early fall transition, and it's a great bait in that fall when the water's starting to cool off. And it's a jerk bait. And we used a Rapala bait called a Shadow Wrap Shad, but we used the deep one. This is the Shadow Wrap Shad Deep, and it's got that deeper bill on it. And if you look at the bill, it's elongated, and it looks a lot, it's more like a spoon bill. It looks a lot like a crankbait bill. And if you look at that lip on that bait, get it out here in a second, it's got that longer, it's about 1.25 inches lip on it. And that lip is going to help this jerkbait get deep, you know, 8 to even 10 foot deep on 8-pound tests. And we caught some really nice Northern California smallmouths on that bait. You know, the key to this bait, when that water's cooling, is that it's a slow rising jerkbait. So I would twitch that bait, and you're going to see in this show I'd twitch it hard, but then I would pause it. And when you pause that Shadow Wrap Shad, it has a nose up, slow rise to it. And in that falling water, falling temperature in the early fall, when it's going into the 60s and 50s, I want a slow rise bait, like a Shadow Wrap Shad Deep. One last thing I want to tell you about is the rod and reel on this, and it was really important in the jerkbait fishing to pick the right rod. And this is a rod that I designed for Abu Garcia. It's the Ike Series 6-4 Delay Series rod. And our Delay Series rods are composite. And so that means this rod is a mix of glass and graphite. And if you look at the bend on it, it's got a really soft tip. About 40% of the rod is tip, but the rest back here, that 60%, is backbone for the hook set. And the size is really key. 6'4" with the really short butt section to it. Not quite a pistol grip, but a short butt. And that allows you wrist motion, because jerkbait fishing is all about cadence. I paired that with a Abu Garcia Revo Premier in a 6-4-1, a little bit slow gear ratio reel, and I finished it off with 100% 8-pound Berkeley Trilene fluorocarbon. Helped that bait get down, helped it rise naturally on the fall. Man, what a great show. I advise everybody, if you're going out to Napa, have fun, drink some wine, but try the bass fishing. You're going to love it.